Next up, 1 through 10. I've been watching so much Baby First stuff. I have all these little counting songs in my head now, you know. We can count to 10. That's one of the songs. We can count to 10. Look who's number one, Buffalo, at an even average net point of plus 10. Dallas, after that beatdown on Minnesota, increased their differential substantially, taking second place at 8.4. That's plus 8.4 points per game. Philadelphia, who had been in second place, comes to 7.9 points per game. So they fallen a little bit. Kansas City, we talked about them. That defense where was that defense at, Benny?
Oh, I can't remember the number now.
They were in the second. It was kind of back there a little bit.
They were in the second, third. 20 something.
Yeah, they're plus 7.5 points per game. Rounding out fifth place, my San Francisco 49ers, averaging plus 6.9 points per game. Go Jimmy G. Cincinnati 4.9, Baltimore 4.4, New England 3.4, the Jets 3.1, and Miami 2.4. This is all positive numbers, so your range from 10 down to 2.4 rounds out your average net points for the NFL. They're on average points for first place. You have Kansas City, followed by Buffalo and Philly. Seattle, we talked about Seattle, how high they were offensively. Cincinnati 25.9, Miami 25.6, Dallas 25.4, Detroit 25, tied with Baltimore at 25 even, and Vegas 24.1 points per game. So that gets you into the door, 24.1 points per game in terms of the top 10 in scoring. And points against, number one, San Francisco 49ers, giving up 15.7 points per game. And, you know, we kind of organize all this differential information, but it's amazing how they pull out these little stats, you know, and isolate them in so many of these shows that I see the differential beside it, differential. But this is where you want to go when you want to just get the bigger picture as to where everybody stands. Dallas is in second place at 17, so Denver and the Jets are both tied for 17.6, or is that? No, 17.8 for Denver, 17.8. My eyesight is not that good. That's fourth place. In fifth place, Buffalo, starting at 18 point allowed per game, ranging from 18-1 to 18-6. You have Buffalo, New England, Tampa Bay, and Tennessee. This Tennessee Eagle game that's coming up, we're going to talk about this, but this is starting to intrigue me. Look who's right behind them at 19.6 points per game allowed. And then in Washington, they're trying to play spoiler at 19.7, coming in 10th. So there's your top 10 in terms of scoring defense. San Fran, Dallas, Denver, the Jets, Buffalo, New England, Tampa Bay, Tennessee, Philly, and Washington. And as far as turnover differential is concerned, Philly is in first place, plus 1.2 average turnovers per game. Baltimore is second at 0.7. Minnesota and Dallas tied at 0.5. So that's about a half a point on the plus side for these teams. Seattle 0.4. Then we have a 2-way tie between the Chargers and the Giants at 0.3. And a three-way tie between Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, and the Jets at 0.2. So those are your top 10 in average turnover differential. And Ben, let me mess your head up a little bit.
Okay.
Look across all the categories, the first place. Does that look like potential AFC, NFC championship games to you?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nobody could argue. I mean, I'm sure there's people that root for certain teams that think that they're particular. Like there's some people, you know, Cowboys fans are going to say, nah, it won't be the Niners, it'll be us, you know, or whatever. But yeah, that could very easily.
I'm like, holy mackerel, you know?
Conference game matchups right there, very easily.
All right, what you got for this group?
I got two things. First of all, since you looked ahead to the Giants, to the Tennessee Eagles game, which doesn't come for another week or two?
That's this week, right?
The Eagles play Titans this week? Oh, it is this week. Well, I just wanted to let you know when we do the Bias Plus reports, I'm going to give you an interesting statistic about the Tennessee Titans defense, since that's where you brought it up when we were doing average points against.
An interesting. No, I can't say it. You messed it up so bad.
I know. I had to pause. An interesting statistic.
Statistic. Okay.
In reference to the Tennessee defense, which I mean, it's interesting. It's lots of people probably know it. Some people may not think about it. So it's not any astronomical discovery or anything, but it's an interesting statistic when you think about that upcoming game and the fact that they're so close in average points against. The other thing I was going to say is when we go back to average net points and we look at our top 10, you will notice that every division in football is represented in that top 10 except 2. And those 2 are not so arguably probably the worst divisions in football as we speak. They would be the AFC South and, strange as it might sound, folks, Tampa Bay fans, the NFC South. Neither of those 2 teams are represented.
Those divisions.
Those 2 divisions, right.
Wow.
Which tells you how things have got to change when we talk about the playoff. Somebody's got to win those 2 divisions. And they will be 2 of the 14 teams that make it into the playoffs. And neither of those teams, whoever they turn out to be, are in our top 10.
Now, are they in any of the other categories? Let's see.
I believe so.
Tampa Bay is in defense. They're 18.5.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'd say on that alone, they're the front runner to win the NFC South.
On that alone.
On that alone. AFC South, guess who we're looking at? Jacksonville. Right? Crazy? It's crazy.
Jacksonville. We talk about those wins when we get to the matchup part of the show, man. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
All right, I'm all juiced about getting to the matchup part of the show. You ready to move on?
I'm ready.
All right, and again, the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us at my blog, sterlingnppr.com, and on Instagram. Yeah, that's the ticket. We're on Instagram also.